everyone. It's been a minute since I came live out here, and I just wanted to touch bases with you. I have had the most amazing time with some of the kids inside of our Homeschool Olympians group. We're doing this thing called Oral Language Festival. Hey, Tia. We're doing this thing called Oral Language Festival, and I was talking with one of the moms after today's practice. So excited. There are 10 kids inside, ages 5 to 18, and what they've done is they have selected a piece of literature and then memorized 3 to 5 minutes of it, and then they're learning how to present it in a dramatic way, concentrating on their facial expression, their tone of voice, and then using their body language as they express themselves through storytelling. And I was sharing with her that I'm so excited about this oral language festival because it's one of the things that has made the biggest impact in my husband and my 5 sons through their homeschool career. It has made the biggest impact to raise up kids that can stand in front of a crowd and deliver a concept, an idea, or a tutorial in a way that is received by the crowd. Our youngest son just hit like a home run oral speech just this past week when he did something on dyslexia in a college class. And he left the kids in the class dumbfounded, and the professor was like, wow, I haven't seen a presentation like that except from CEOs that have decades of public speaking. Now, I'm not tooting my horn, because I don't have a horn. But what I'm saying is that when you lean in and teach your kids how to excel in oral communication, which takes years, decades, as a matter of fact. But I was talking with this mom, and we were talking about the importance of this skill, and I was saying, what happens when you teach your kids to be excellent communicators is that they stick out amongst their peers, especially today. And it shouldn't be that way. All of the kids should have the same opportunities, the same skills of being able to communicate clearly. But it's really an unfair playing field when some kids are given the skills where they can deliver their ideas and their thoughts or teach and impact a small group or a large group of people. As a homeschooler, my prayer for you, my hope for you, is that you look at your kids way over the curriculum. The curriculum is not going to make them successful in life. Oh, it'll help fine-tune some skills, give them something to do for an hour or 3 a day or whatever you're doing. But that's not what's going to make or break them. What's going to make or break their success are things like, what is their character like? How do they handle struggles? How do they handle challenges? Do they quit? Do they have grit? Are they kind? These types of things really, really make a difference in life. You know it. I know it, right? If I have to interact with somebody, I want to interact with somebody that has character. I don't want to interact with twits. Is that just me? I don't think that's just me. And our kids take time to develop those skills, but they do develop those skills, especially if we keep them at the center of the target. The next thing is that we want to be able to focus on our kids' attitudes. So character and attitude. They need, just like us, they need to know, they need to have coping skills when life is great or when it's not. They need to know how to navigate through that. And then on top of that, here's where the magic of homeschooling can be. You can teach your kids how to be expert help seekers. Oh my gosh, I wish I had learned this lesson when my oldest kids were younger, but we definitely leaned into it with our 3 musketeers, our younger 3. And that is the reality that there is always somebody out there that loves what you need to know how to do. It doesn't matter what it is. Shoeing horses, rowing, My kids are rowing. One of my kids is a rower. The team is out there. There are experts at rowing. There's experts at auto mechanic stuff, doctors, nurses, teaching, drawing, singing, music. There's an expert out there. So when you get stuck, where do you find help? That is an expert level skill that sets your kids apart from their peers who are sitting there going, well, I didn't know what to do, so I didn't do anything. Like, go get some help. That's why God invented YouTube, right? So YouTube, teachers, parents, siblings, neighbors, be an expert help seeker. And then master the basics, right? The basics of mathematics. You should know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, do percentages, decimals, fractions, those types of basic things, so that you can triple a recipe, or you can figure out which is a better price. You should know your basic math. And then, we should master the art of communication, both in written form and in oral form. Our kids should not melt if they had to stand on a stage and deliver their opinion about something. And we can start them when they're like 3. They take their favorite toy and they stand in front of the television, or if you don't have a television, in front of a wall, and they stand in front of the family and they say, my name is Becky, and my favorite toy today is an ice scraper. And then they say, I like this ice scraper because it helps me take the ice off the window. And then they stand there and you ask a question. Well, where did you get your ice scraper? And then they tell you, and you have that interaction. And that you start them when they're little, 3, 4, 5. And then as they get older, you teach them how to do better and better and better. When it comes to writing is one of those things. Okay, raise your hand. Does teaching your kids how to write, does that freak you out? I've talked to quite a few parents that writing freaks them out, the teaching of writing. But writing takes time. And if you lean into the process of writing and spend most of your time brainstorming ideas, oh my gosh, one of the biggest mistakes with writing is to hand your kids a blank piece of paper and a sharp pencil and say, write. About what? What should I write about? Like, where do I start? Instead, brainstorm. Hide the pencil, hide the paper, and talk about things. Like, I'm sitting in my car waiting for my son, if you can't tell. Like an ice pick. You can say, well, what is this? Do you know what it is? What do we know about this? What do we not know? Do we care? Do we have any questions about it? And you just talk. Or you go somewhere and you experience something. Like, I'm sitting in a parking lot waiting for my son who is on a rowing crew. Oh, we could talk all day about rowing and what the different vocabulary of rowing is. The shells and the oars and the coxswains and a stroke seat and port and starboard and all the things. And we can just learn about rowing and never pick up a pencil. And then we can draw things about rowing and spend days learning about the history. And you just lean into things and fill your kids' heads with adjectives and verbs and things that help them explain, help them put to words these ideas. And you collect ideas, you collect descriptions, you collect the magical experiences. You're the one that writes it down as you collect it on a piece of paper. And then over time you can learn how to take those things and develop it into a story or a poem or a song or an illustration, or use dry erase markers on a window and write every word that you can think of about a topic on the window. There's so many different things you can do with writing. You know, I'm kind of at the end of my homeschool career. We've been homeschooling now over 25 years, 5 sons. Our oldest is 30. Can you believe it? Now, I know. You need to comment right now. I do not look old enough to have a 30-year-old son, but I do. And my youngest is 17. And on this side of the journey, I think of all the times I worried about how much I was messing them up. Oh, I was going to mess up their education royally because I didn't know what I was doing. But we leaned into character hard. We leaned into attitude hard. Do you know how many times I sent my kids outside to run laps? Or there's even videos out there on YouTube of my kids doing things like planks and push-ups or suicides, running back and forth because they told their mama no, or they gave me a hard time about doing something, or they were spending all their time bickering rather than doing what it is they were supposed to do. And so they sweat a lot. My boys now can outwork any regular man out there. They work, and while they do it, they're smiling because they know the value of hard work. And so, did they read early? Nope. None of them read early. All 5 of the kids were delayed readers. All 5 of them. Youngest didn't read till he was 10. Actually, if you watch his dyslexic speech, he actually said that himself because he had crippling dyslexia. I didn't even know what that meant for him until he just delivered this amazing speech last week. Oh my gosh. So much respect for that kid after he explained and demonstrated what it's like for him to read. Oh my goodness. He didn't read till he was 10. So what? So what? Not one person on the planet is going to ask him, what age did you learn to read so that you can buy this car, or you can have this job, or run this company, or marry this bride? Nobody's going to ask him. Nobody cares. Nobody really cares, except moms that have a 3-year-old that can read 15 sentences in a row with perfect articulation. They want to know when your kid's read. Nobody else does. It's okay. I worried so much about not teaching them enough, about not picking the right curriculum, about not getting enough of the curriculum done, about not knowing how to multiply, divide, or whatever fractions, or how to do quadratic equations, or all the things. I had to relearn in order to teach, and I worried that they were going to fail. But they didn't. They're all thriving. All of them are thriving and amazing people. And yes, it's because of God, and I know that, and He gets all the glory. And it is then because of my amazing husband, who has worked so hard to provide for our family so that at least one of us at all time was present with the kids. And I can't underestimate how much of an impact that made to have at least one parent home. And then the rest of it just is character. We live in 2023 right now. There is nothing that your kids can't just go, hey Siri, how do you solve the quadratic equation? And then Siri answers. There's nothing that they can't access information-wise. So instead, we want to lean into what's going on the inside. What are they feeling? What are they saying? What are they expressing themselves on paper? And then watch. It's not fair, but they're going to stick out like sore thumbs because they're awesome people from the inside out. They work hard, right? They're part of the team. The world does not revolve around the children. The children are a welcome part of the world. They're a welcome part of the family. They do chores. They help around the house. They wait. Sometimes they go without because fill in the blank. There's reasons why they just can't have what it is they think they need in that moment. They read because you read to them a lot. You snuggled and read just one more chapter. Mom, just one more chapter, please. Just one more chapter. You teach them how to ask for help. Teach them how to express themselves on paper. And teach them how to speak orally. What an amazing thing. Circling back to the oral language kids. Oh, to watch a 5-year-old recite eloquently a piece of literature that she's memorized, or to watch a 14-year-old dramatically express a story with her face and her voice and her hands, and to watch them stretch and grow over the course of a couple weeks is amazing. I can't tell you what it is. Well, I just said it's amazing. So it is amazing. There's nothing better than watching kids thrive in life, knowing that the skill set that you've given them, the character that you've woven into them, truly sets them up for success. Oh, on top of that excellent character, on top of that amazing attitude, you now lay some kind of knowledge, and just sit back and watch with amazement what your kids can do. It is fantastic. Oh, I just felt like I needed to say that as I'm sitting here and my kids' team is getting ready to chant their little CIR, Clam Island Rowing chant. I hope you know that you're enough. You are enough. Your kids are so blessed to have you. They are so blessed to have this opportunity. One of the kids that my kids hangs out with is a new to homeschooling kid. And she was saying how disappointed she was that public school, let her down for so long, that they just didn't teach her anything. They weren't there for her. They caused her anxiety and stress. And now as a new to homeschooling teenager, she's like, I can finally breathe. And I get to learn. I get to ask questions and actually get the help that I need. Do you realize how blessed your kids are because you get to educate them? You're not exceptional if you have questions or if you doubt your ability to teach your kids. You're not. You're one of us. We all question our ability to teach our kids. But you are enough, and your kids are blessed. And I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear your impacts. I would love to hear your ideas. I'm going to end with this. The Homeschool Olympian mom was like, oh, are you going to do the oral language thing again? Please tell me you're going to do that class again. Like, I've got a lot going on right now. One of my kids is getting married. 2 of my kids are getting ready to go away to college if it all works out. And one of my kids is going to be rowing and in a regional competition. And you know the things when you have athletes that do things. There's nationals and then potentially world competitions and a lot of traveling in our future. But on the flip side, I would love to do the oral language competition again. It needs to be small enough that I can actually coach the kids like I've been able to with this group of 10. But she had some amazing ideas of how we can do this over the course of a year. So I'm super excited for that. So anyway, I'm going to run. My kid is starting to run towards the car. Let me know what you think. You've got this. If you have questions, if you have doubts, you are not alone, but you are absolutely enough. You're going to be okay. Your kids are going to be okay. Just keep focusing on the inside first. Make that your priority, and everything else takes care of itself over the course of a long period of time.